The conversation of mental health grows bigger each year, and Bell Let's Talk Day is one of the main factors. I spoke with a local psychologist for more on the influence it's had and new exercises people can use to improve their own mental health.
I'm joined here now with Michelle Hamilton and Kelsey Belk, and now we're into the new year, almost into February, and Bell Let's Talk Day was just a few days ago. And mental health is a topic that a lot of people are speaking about right now, and Bell Let's Talk Day really helps set that conversation. So, just what do you think the impact has been with mental health and ending the stigma with Bell Let's Talk Day?
I do feel like we've come a very long way with, improving awareness that everybody struggles at times. And our mental health is just like our physical health. There's times where it's good, and there's times where there's some issues coming up that are natural and kind of unavoidable in life that we struggle through. So the other thing, though, that I think is really important to point out is that another aspect of what Bell Let's Talk initiative does is also address the question of care and access. Now, that's where I point out the challenge in our community currently, and over the last couple of years especially, there's been a very intense increase in demand for mental health services. But the problem is that there is often not enough resources as far as qualified mental health professionals or funding, for mental health. And certainly Bell Let's Talk is putting a lot of money into the initiative around the country. But I wanted to point out that one important thing that I think is a responsibility on my end with my career is to support the development of new psychologists and new counselors who can prepare and be well qualified and well trained in their education and their practicums to take on the need as we go forward, because there is only going to continue to be a very strong need for mental health support in the aftermath of COVID-19. So I'd like to introduce my practicum student, Kelsey Bauk, who is now going to just talk a little bit about COVID fatigue, because on top of the usual seasonal affective disorder, which we all kind of struggle with in the winter months of the darkness, the cold, and the Canadian winter, now on top of all of that, we have COVID fatigue.
Yeah, so just as Michelle mentioned, I think now more than ever, mental health campaigns like Bell Let's Talk are crucial just with helping to get the word out about mental health and to just really help with ending the stigma around it, especially being that we are 2 years into a global pandemic right now, and one that has been highly politicized, and with that has come a polarization of views being expressed on social media and the news. And I think it's safe to say that we're all experiencing a level of COVID fatigue right now. So even just the knowledge and getting those conversations out there, and just people letting people know that they're not alone, and we all in a sense are in this together. And when they do start to feel that they are alone, then it's important to seek help and get the help that they need.
Now, Michelle, you touched on how it is harder right now for some people to get the help they need or even go to therapy. So, what has been some things that you have been recommending to people at home to kind of get them into their positive practices and everyday routines?
Finding the balance between things we do that help us ground ourselves, in other words, calm down, feel safe, feel comforted. That might be, seeking out comfort in the presence of, let's just say, an animal, a pet, a warm, comfy blanket, certainly a person, and so on. Finding things that soothe us and ground us. And then also finding activities, people, and places that activate or energize us, that improve our ability to move and feel strong and feel flexible physically as well as mentally. So, of course, that can include getting back to habits of being active physically and moving even inside your house. Make a playlist of some of your favorite songs of grade 9 and really think about getting into just a little bit of movement. Get up and take some time to move your body and stretch and engage in some way in the world with people.
And adults aren't the only ones being affected by the pandemic, as it is having a big impact on kids' mental health. So, just what have you been saying to parents and teachers to kind of help their kids get back into those positive mindsets?
One thing that you can do is just open up the lines of communication, and just like I said before, we're all in this together. So even, children and teenagers, they're all experiencing this as well. And so just making sure that do those check-ins and ask them how they're doing, and really listen and hear what's going on, and what they're going through. I think that's really important.
Thank you, ladies, both so much for joining me today.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having us.
The 10th annual Inspiring Women Conference is happening next Thursday. Our Nicole Gruber is joined by the co-organizers of the event to talk more about it.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined with Kelly Sidoric and Tara Weaver, the co-organizers of the Lloydminster Women's Conference of 2022. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us here today.
We're very grateful that you're having us on.
So do you mind telling us a little bit more about this event and what will be going on during the day?
It is our professional personal development day for women in the Lloydminster and surrounding region, beyond, because it'll be virtual, but it's a very typical outline to what we normally do. So we start off the day with a panel of local women who are all very inspiring: Leona Carter, Michelle Lake, and Stephanie Brown Monroe. We then switch into some breakouts. So we have 3 different breakout options that are presented twice throughout the day. We can talk more about them in a bit, but they are the breakout presenters is Leona Carter again, as well as Karen Harris and Allison Weaver. We then have a great lunch, a presentation by local nonprofit, which this year is Residents in Recovery, some networking time, another round of breakouts, and then at 2:15, after a coffee break, we swing into our keynote speaker, who this year is Benveet, or better known as Bean Gill, from the REU Paralysis and Recovery Center in Edmonton. And then it is our wind-up after that.
Do you mind letting us know a little bit more about these women who will be speaking in these breakout rooms?
Sure, I'll tell you a little bit about some of our breakouts. We have one that's being presented by Allison Weaver, and Allison is a local woman, lives north of Lloydminster on her farm. She has developed a day timer for women. It's very, very handy, very helpful for goal setting, kind of just helping you to plan your day for success. And that's what her breakout will be on. I could read actually a little bit more about it. Just helping you navigate your day. Her day timer is called Navigate 2022. And so that's what we have named this breakout as well. So Karen is a local educator for many years. She's now connected with Lakeland College, and she shares insights on how we can use our instinctual strengths to adapt to life's changes and challenges, with an emphasis on how can we focus better. It looks at some of us, some of our characteristics, which of course are all different, but there is commonalities, and shares some tips and insights and tools for how we can focus better and achieve more.
And we also have Leona Carter. We'll also see Leona on the panel. Leona grew up north of Lloydminster at Onion Lake. She went to residential schools and has a lot of very good experiences, a lot of different kinds of stories to share. And she will be talking to us about resilience. She is going to share some happenings in her life and how she has drawn on her own resiliency to come through those. She's very well educated. She has her degree in psychology, and she is very involved in helping people overcome hard times in their life and using their own resiliency. So that's going to be a really great breakout from her as well.
And I guess we could go a little bit into our keynote, Bean. She's an advocate for equality, inclusion, and accessibility. She's an entrepreneur, co-founder, and executive director of the REU Recovery Center. And she's also an ambassador for the Rick Hansen Foundation. She's a model, she's a public figure, an athlete, and she has received some different awards. One of them is the Global Women of Vision, the top 40 under 40, RBC's Women of Influence, and she's the reigning Miss Wheelchair Canada.
And will the event be online or in person this year?
It's blended. It's both online and in person. One of the ideas last year was that when we really only had the option to be online, we decided that an important part of the day for us is the networking and connecting and the really great support and learning we share with other women in our community. It's held at the exhibition grounds in the buildings down there. So of course, there's lots of room for us to be social distancing, and we will need to follow, of course, all the SHA current guidelines.
Are there any tickets still available, and where can people find those?
Yes, tickets are available downtown in Lloydminster at Olive and Birch. Those tickets are the in-person tickets that you can pick up. You can go online to Eventbrite, and if you search up Inspiring Women Conference, it's there. Or you can go to our Facebook page, which is the letter K, T, and Company, and we have the link posted all over that Facebook page so that you can go and get your tickets on Eventbrite as well. It's been a long time since we could get together, so we're very, very looking forward to just seeing everyone who is able to make it. And even if we're looking at you on a computer screen, we're excited to see you. It's going to be a fantastic day.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. It was a real pleasure.
For sure. Thanks, Nicole.
Now for a first look at this evening's temperatures, we'll go to Tate Lakecraft.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. These next couple of days, things are going to be all right. Temperature is kind of in the -5 to -15 kind of range, but then it's going to get cold, but we will get to that. We'll start off with things currently. Right now in Lloydminster, we've got a current temperature of 1 degree. Overnight, it is expected to dip down to about -4, and come tomorrow, the sun will be shining through those clouds. We're expecting a temperature of about -2. Jumping on over to North Battleford, though, currently sitting at 11 degrees, a little bit colder. Going to want to bundle up over there if you're spending some time outside tonight. Overnight, it will actually get a little bit warmer, elevating to -8, and then come tomorrow, the sun will also shine through those clouds, and you can expect a temperature of -6. Then taking a look at Cold Lake, it's currently -7 overnight. It will drop down 2 degrees to about -9, and come tomorrow, it will warm up and it will sit at about -3. But now taking a look around the region, first, starting with things out west, in Edmonton, it's 5 degrees currently, the same in Lac La Biche. Bonnyville's -2, Cold Lake -7, St. Paul is about -2, and in Vegreville it is 2 degrees. Vermilion, meanwhile, at 1. Taking a look at things out east, Isle of La Crosse sitting at -7 currently. Green Lake, the same temperature. Meadow Lake, a little bit colder, down 3 degrees, sitting at about -10. St. Walburg, -6. Maidstone, -4, North Battleford's -11. Then taking a look at your 3-day forecast. Saturday, we're expecting more sunshine, temperatures ranging between -2 and -4 with the wind chill. It will feel a little bit colder. Come Sunday, the sun will be hidden a little bit more behind those clouds. A high of -1, a low of -4 with the wind chill, though. Expected to feel a lot colder, -21, yuck. And on Monday, you can expect that wind chill to kick in even more with some snow falling from the sky. It's going to feel like -30, but that is all the time we have right now. Jasmine King will be back with some more news after the break.
Welcome back. The Everything Equine on the Border event is one of the new high-profile events the Lloydminster Agricultural Exhibition will host this year. With a preview of what to expect, here's Thomas Wildman.
Today we have Dallas Eket, the chair of the Everything Equine on the Border event, and thank you so much for being here today with us, Dallas.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
So Dallas, what exactly is going to be happening at the Everything Equine on the Border event?
The Everything Equine event is 3 days of, just like it says, Everything Equine. We have, and this is in the Lloyd Ag Dealer Saskatchewan building, we're going to have clinicians. We've got Jason Bronwyn Irwin from Ontario. They're on the Cowboy Channel. The Horse Trainers is their show on there. We also have Alexander Grayton coming from Southern Alberta. He is a jumping instructor, a very accomplished jumper, very accomplished trainer, and so we're very lucky to get those clinicians. Then in the Culligan Water Alberta building, we're obviously going to have our Trainers Challenge in there. We've got Cade Mills, Travis Beaton, and Rod Olson are going to compete in there on our Trainers Challenge. And then in the rest of the building, we're going to fill up with some trade show vendors. We're going to have a speakers corner, informational speakers. We partnered with some of our local vet clinics as well as industry officials to give you some informational talks there. And as well, we will have at noon on Saturday, we're going to have a fashion show to throw in there too. So it's 3 days of fun, action-packed, lots going on, something for everybody. So
for this event, how does one be able to get into the door of the event? Will they have to buy tickets beforehand, or will there be tickets available at the door? How would one gain admission to the Everything Equine on the Border event?
we will have tickets at the door. We do actually have tickets on sale through the website, $15 a day. And stay tuned. There's something coming down the line with some VIP tickets, some reserved seating possibly involved in that. So stay tuned. Again, stick to the website. It'll all show up on there. But yeah, there's you can pre-register. You can buy tickets at the door. And yeah, these VIP tickets might be coming down the tube here within the next week or two. So
Then it's all about equine, but do you need to have any equine expertise to truly enjoy this event, or is it open to people of all ages and all skill levels?
it is open to absolutely everybody. Even if you just seen a horse once and you thought, geez, that's nice, I want to learn more about that. There is definitely something there for you, something to watch, something to learn, and lots to be had, industry contacts to be made, that kind of thing. So it is for everybody, from the beginner to the person that's been involved with horses for years. There's always something to be learned.
Earlier in the month, you guys had a release asking for 3 horses for the training challenge. How did that search go, or are you guys still looking for horses?
It's still ongoing. We're still open. Our applications are open until the 1st of February. And at that point, we'll go through them and select well, actually, we're selecting 4 so that we have, they can pick all 3 of the trainers will have a pick of a horse. And then we do have a spare if something should happen to go wrong with one of them. But yeah, those applications are open. Again, if you're interested in that, you can check out the website or give the exhibition a call, and they can send you out the application package for that as well.
When is the Everything Equine on the Border event going to take place?
So the event is going to be the 8th to 10th of April, and the doors are going to open at around 8 o'clock every day, 8 to 6-ish. And I think Sunday we're down at 5, but 8 to 6, doors open at 8 o'clock. So come on out and take a tour through the buildings and enjoy some clinics and some Trainers Challenge.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dallas, and for all the great information.
You as well.
And now here's a look at your agriculture prices.
Yes, thank you again, Jasmine. We will start things off right now by just taking a look at some current temperatures around the region. We'll start over here in Lloydminster. We're sitting at about 1 degree currently. North Battleford's much colder, -11 over there. Myrna, meanwhile, is at 2 degrees. A Cold Lake right here is at -7, and it's the same in Iowa La Crosse. In Edmonton, much warmer, sitting at 5 degrees. Taking a look to my left here, your right, Meadow Lake at -10. Provost, much warmer at -1, and Saskatoon sitting at -9. Now, overnight temperatures for some towns around the region. Meadow Lake, is expected to dip down to -9, Bonnyville -8, Provost -4. Isle of La Crosse will get a little bit colder, -13 is the expectation overnight there. Paradise Hill will be -8, Murnum also -4. Then meanwhile, Pierceland will go to -9, Unity -8, and Wainwright -4. But now taking a look around the region here, we'll start out east. St. John's, -4 over there. Further up north in Iqaluit, it's much, much colder, -27 there. Quebec City's -14. Winnipeg is -17. Meanwhile, Regina sitting at about -10, cold over there. Edmonton again, 5 degrees up in Yellowknife. It is -19. Whitehorse, though, 2 degrees, not too shabby. And down in Vancouver, beautiful 7 degrees. Then taking a look at your 7-day forecast here, Saturday through Monday, once again, not going to be too shabby. Sun shining through those clouds. It will range between a low of -1 on Sunday or a high of -1 on Sunday rather, to a low of -8 on Monday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday where the narrative starts to shift a little bit. It's going to get cold on Wednesday. We're expecting a high of -26 and a low of -32. If you're planning on spending any time outside, please put your jacket on, put a scarf on, maybe even add 2 or 3 layers underneath. But talking about some temperatures over the course of history here, the highest temperature ever recorded in Lloydminster on this day for January 28th was 4.8 degrees all the way back in 1984. The coldest ever temperature, meanwhile, came back in 2004, clocking in at -43.3 degrees, and that was without the wind chill, folks, so it would have been dangerous. But that is all the time we have right now for weather. Jasmine King will be back with some more news, but that's all I got. Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by local award-winning Métis author Shelley Ann Varinga, who's actually launching a new podcast via TELUS's Story Hive collaboration. Welcome to the show, Shelley.
Well, thanks for having me.
So for people who are unfamiliar with your book, it's called I Never Lied, and it's an in-depth look at some of the struggles and traumas that you faced throughout your childhood. But with the podcast, you're kind of looking to take things a step further. So to open things up here, would you say that the podcast is kind of a means of creating a more conversational tone to go about this subject matter, or what can you tell our viewers about the podcast series?
So the first 3 podcasts that I did were strictly based on bringing in a private investigator who could prove the story and what I had written in my book. And then it was the next 2 were based on the abuse that I went through as a child. These next 6 are going to be a little bit different because I want to talk about what the deep-rooted adverse effects to adults are of having gone through childhood trauma. We're going to do sort of like a ripple effect. So my children, who are now 36 and 39, are going to have a chance to share what they went through when I was going through the trauma and trying to recover from it, and how that's affected them in their adult life. I also have a niece who is going to be also discussing her experience having been raised by my sister, who was also abused, and how that reflects in her being a parent today. I think it is so important that we talk about this stuff, because one of the things that stopped me from healing myself for so many years was the guilt that I carried for all the mistakes that I had made. Once people realize, and once I realized that that's a natural reaction to what I went through, it became easier to get through it and to start my recovery process.
And because of the raw or maybe uncomfortable subject matter that this podcast contains, it might be harder for some people to invest in a piece of media like this. But could I just get you to speak to, I guess, the importance or the opportunity, I guess, that it creates to educate people who haven't been through abuse?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I've come across so many times when I've been out public speaking or hosting workshops is that Number one, the stats in Canada are 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys before the age of 12 will be abused. If you aren't a person who was abused, you're definitely going to know somebody who was. And it helps when you educate yourself, it'll help you to gain a bigger understanding of the person you're dealing with. And it also will teach you how to help that person recognize what's going on for them. It is very important, I think.
Just quickly before we go, for podcast listeners out there who might be interested in getting their ears on your material, where's the best spot for them to go?
They can actually find it on my website, which is www.shellyann.ca. Under the podcast page, they're all there.
Thanks so much for your time, Shelley.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me.
Coming up tomorrow night for one night only, House of Paws Productions will be live streaming a fantastic play that you have the opportunity to enjoy from the comfort of your own home. Kick back on the couch and enjoy Win Fairly Champion Wrestler. Who's going to be the champion? You're going to see some very talented local actors as a part of this, some familiar faces that have been a part of House of Paws for a few years now, and also some new faces as well. And they always do a fantastic job of incorporating music into their show as well. This is a live streamed event. You don't need a ticket, but they certainly would appreciate any donations you make. You'll be able to find the live stream on their Facebook page and on YouTube, and it gets underway tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The Connect Club of Lloydminster is very active in our community and very busy these days as they're getting set for their annual Telemiracle Steak Night. And coming up tomorrow, they're hosting Yogathon for CF. It's an opportunity for you to drop in at the Kinsman Hall and take part in yoga classes. They're going to have them throughout the day, a number of different levels, a number of different times, and a number of different ways that you can take part as well, because there will be a few online classes too. It's $20 to take a class or $3 for $50, and funds raised are going to Cystic Fibrosis Canada. For more details or to get registered, you can check out their website, lloydminstercannets.com. And the Lloydminster Public Library hopes you join them at their new location in the Lloyd Mall for some of their grand opening activities that will continue over the next few days. Coming up tomorrow, they're going to be hosting virtual story time, and this is a great one for the whole family. Local author Anne Campbell is going to be a part of this. Coming up on Monday, they also have a reading with Marie Donné Calder, and then coming up on Tuesday, Teen Anime Club. If you'd like to get more details, you can always visit their Facebook page or just visit the Lloydminster Public Library at their new location in the Lloyd Mall. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel is classic Abby St. John. Thank you so much for giving the time to speak with us.
Of course, no worries.
Now, I'm really excited for the topics that we have for this panel this week, especially for this first one. Now, we're starting off with talking about, and if you haven't watched it, I'd suggest getting into it now, Abbott Elementary. Now, this is a must-watch sitcom. It's kind of like, it's got the same vibes as The Office, Parks and Recreation, a little bit of like Trailer Park Boys with that mockumentary style. So I think a lot of people, you know, that are fans of those shows should check this out because it is hilarious. And now there's 5 episodes so far as well on Hulu. It's mostly about a mostly black public school in Philadelphia, and it needs funds and resources, and it's based on the teachers that are kind of, you know, overlooked and underrepresented. So it's good to see that they do have a show about this, and so far it's been hilarious. I love it. And we are talking about how it is the first ABC series to quadruple its ratings since airing. So word of mouth has been really helping it get around.
Yes, I agree with you. I think the show is fantastic. I think it's hilarious. I've watched the first 4 episodes. I'm going to watch the 5th one later, but I think it's fantastic. And like you said, it has that mockumentary type style like The Office. So you get those, you know, those glances at the camera, those reactions, and the students are reacting as well. I think it's incredible, and I think it's such a great show and a great idea, great concept. And yes, it is the first ABC comedy premiere to quadruple ratings. It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with 100% critic rating and about an 81% audience rating. It had a 7.1 million views. And yeah, it's a great comedy, and it's, you know, it's definitely worth checking out just because of how high rating it is. And I think it is hilarious because, you know, the fans of The Office, I think, are going to really like this show. You know, that sort of style towards it. Like you said, Parks and Rec is the same way. Trailer Park Boys, it has that same style that, you know, the characters are looking off into the camera, like what's going on. And you have like those off to the side interviews. And I think it was a fantastic idea bringing it into the school. I think it's hilarious getting to see the different children's reactions because they're also interacting. You know, they may not have a ton of lines, but just like their look-offs, their, you know, curious faces, it is very well done, and I cannot wait for more.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm a huge The Office fan, so once I saw this, and especially how it does have a, you know, a mostly black cast as well, I just personally really loved it. What a great idea, and I'm glad that at least word of mouth is helping it get around, because even before I didn't see too much, you know, ads or promotion personally for it, since I do use a lot of streaming services, and there's lots of people out there that, you know, they don't always go on TV too much. So I'm glad that it is getting around and more people are appreciating it, and I hope, you know, it continues on with its seasons as well. I think everybody really loves those little kids' reactions. I think that is hilarious, how some of the situations they get themselves in, just seeing those little actors looking at the camera and having those classic, just kind of tired of this situation, you know? So I think it's really good that we were able to speak about this and seeing how it is getting appreciated. But our next topic now, we are speaking on the new Tyler Perry movie that's supposed to be coming to Netflix. It is A Medea Homecoming, and now it's coming to Netflix February 26th. And I guess this is the first time that a Tyler Perry movie has ever been on Netflix, and it's supposed to be about her great-grandson's college graduation. And if you've seen some Tyler Perry movies in the past, of course, you know, it is hilarious. Everybody loves Medea. So I'm excited to see what this one's going to be all about.
Yes, this is the 12th Medea installment that we have, and I love all the Medea movies. I'm a huge fan of the Medea movies. I've been watching them since they, you know, first started coming out. You know, we had Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That was the biggest one. And, you know, we got that introduction into Medea and Tyler Perry's genius. He plays other characters as well throughout the series. But Medea is definitely that iconic role that everyone should know. And yeah, like you said, it's called Homecoming, gonna be on Netflix, and it's gonna center around Medea's great-grandson's college graduation. And during that, a bunch of family secrets and family drama is going to threaten to ruin the celebration, if you will. I'm super excited about it, and not only are we going to see Medea, there's going to be a guest appearance by Brendan O'Carroll, who, if you don't know, is an iconic Irish actor who plays Agnes Brown in Mrs. Brown's Boys, which is an Irish sitcom. I love Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yes.
It used to be on Netflix, and I absolutely love it. It is so funny, and I think Agnes Brown is such an iconic character. So having Agnes Brown and Medea in the same movie, I'm so excited to see the dynamic because they're kind of similar in characters. So bringing them together, I am pumped to see it because there's going to be so much more comedy added to it. And I think the two characters together are going to be hilarious.
And the fact that you brought that up, that is going to be straight comedy, honestly. The fact that they're bringing this into this movie, I think a lot of people are going to be kind of like, if they aren't reading up on it beforehand, like, you know, of course we did, they're going to be shocked to see that. So I think it's going to be really great to add to that comedy. I agree. That's going to be hilarious. You know what,
Yeah,
Abby, me and you have to watch this.
Yeah, you definitely, if you haven't seen Mrs. Brown's Boys, you should definitely check out a few episodes before watching the Medea movie, just so you know what the character's like and just how hilarious that's gonna be.
Oh yeah, especially. And even they can go on YouTube and find some funny clips. They'll definitely appreciate how funny that Mrs. Brown Boys like episodes are. I can already think of some in my head right now. I can't even get into it because we'll be taking up too much time. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel. Once again, thank you for joining us, Abby.
Thank you.
From all of us here at Primetime Local News, thank you for joining us tonight, and you can catch more news in the next hour.